It is a 2017 American supernatural horror film directed by Andy Muschietti, based on the 1986 novel of the same name by Stephen King. The screenplay is by Chase Palmer, Gary Fukunaga, and Gary Deberman. The film tells the story of 7 children in Derry, Maine, who are terrorized by a eponymous being only to face their own personal demons in the process. Here are 69 facts about it you should know. "27 is a number which is often associated with the story. This film was released 27 years after the original 1990 television miniseries. In the book, it is mentioned that it returns to Derry approximately every 27 years. Jonathan Brandis, who played young Bill in the original film, died at 27 years old. This movie was released 1 month after Bill Skarsgård's 27th birthday. The official US release date is 9/8/2017. The number 27 has multiple connections to the film. Ironically, when all the numbers added together in the total opening weekend gross in the US, $123,403,419, it adds up to the number 27. As the Losers Club approaches Pennywise's front porch to fight him, the yard's open iron front gate can be seen from the back. It holds the number 29, which mirrored resemble the letters E and S. ES is the German word for it. Pennywise has only 5 minutes of dialogue in the entire film. Bill Skarsgård did research into the Psycho universe to find his own way to perform Pennywise. He got inspiration from The Shining, A Clockwork Orange, The Dark Knight, and The Silence of the Lambs. The teeth prosthetics that Bill Skarsgård wore as Pennywise made him drool profusely. Director Andy Muschietti liked this as that the drooling adds on to the ravenous nature of Pennywise. When Ben is in the library, he looks out the window and sees 4 of the losers ride by on their bikes. You can hear Bill scream, "Hey, oh Silver, away," which is a nod to the original novel. Bill Skarsgård had admitted that he was so into his performance as Pennywise that he would have constant nightmares during and after production. Due to the film's huge success, Warner Bros. Distribution had Geoffrey L. Goldstein confirmed plans to put the film in even more theaters around Halloween 2017. Bill Skarsgård wanted to make sure that his performance as Pennywise was convincing for audience. He states, "In order for this movie to be as effective as the book and the series, I had to scare a whole generation. My take was that Pennywise functions very simply. Nothing much is going on in terms of what he's thinking. He is animalistic and instinctive." About 6 months before the film was released, Stephen King was shown a screening. Afterwards, he said that the film exceeded his expectations and that the producers had done a wonderful job. Director Andy Muschietti confirmed that Bill Skarsgård spoke in Swedish sometimes while in character as Pennywise. A popular fan idea is to have the child actors from the original miniseries return to play the adult roles. However, Bill would have to be recast due to the death of Jonathan Brandis. Marilyn Taylor and Jared Blankard, who played the roles of Mike and Henry, have both said that if they were offered the chance to reprise their roles, they would accept. The film's first teaser trailer generated 197 million views globally within 24 hours of its release, breaking the record that was set by The Fate of the Furious at 139 million views. A few weeks after the release of this film, In Moscow, Burger King Russia had filed a complaint against their long-term rival, McDonald's, in wanting the film to be banned, citing that their mascot, Ronald McDonald, supposedly looks similar to Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård has described Pennywise as being such an extreme character, inhumane. He added, "It's beyond even a sociopath, because he's not even human, he's not even a clown. I'm playing just one of the beings that it creates. It truly enjoys taking the shape of the clown Pennywise, and enjoys the game and the hunt." Skarsgård elaborated on his connection to the children, saying, "There is a childishness to the character because he's so closely linked to the kids. The clown is a manifestation of the children's imaginations, so there's something childlike about that." John Oliver was such a fan of the novel that he was cast as an extra in this film. While Bill Skarsgård declared himself a huge fan of Tim Curry in general and Curry's specific performance as Pennywise in the It miniseries, he also said that he did not try to incorporate any of Curry's work into his own portrayal of Pennywise, because he felt that he could not do Tim Curry anywhere near as well as Curry himself did. Also, he did not want his performance to echo Curry's performance and become a distraction. In Stephen King's novel, the Losers Club must face Pennywise first as children, then decades later as adults. This film only tells of their encounter with it as children. The sequel, which tells the story of the Losers Club as adults, is set to be released September 6, 2019. After just 8 days in release, it became the highest-grossing September release of all time and the highest-grossing horror movie of all time. In the novel, Ben Hanscom invented Beep Beep Richie whenever they need him to shut up. This is not used by the Losers Club in the movie, as they only tell him to shut up. Beep Beep Richie is used by Pennywise in the movie, as a way to taunt Richie. In order to prepare for his role as Henry Bowers, Nicholas Hamilton studied the performance of Jared Blanco's performance of the character in It. Other actors who were rumored to play Pennywise included Johnny Depp, Tilda Swinton, Richard Armitage, Tom Hiddleston, Jackie Earle Haley, Jim Carrey, Kirk Aquino, William Dafoe, Paul Giamatti, Hugo Weaving, Doug Jones, and Channing Tatum. During early stages of production, Chloe Grace Moretz was strongly considered for the role of Beverly. However, due to the time the project spent in development, casting did not begin until Moretz was 19. She was deemed too old for the role, and Sophie Lillis was cast instead. Coincidentally, Moretz starred in Carrie, another Stephen King adaptation. The airy scene of Pennywise dancing spawned a series of hilarious viral memes of him dancing to any song, regardless of the variety of the music genres. This marks the second time that a character played by Finn Wolfhard stands on the edge of a quarry and is about to jump down. The first time was in Stranger Things, where his character was threatened by school bullies to jump down. Opening at 4103 theaters in the United States, this film is the widest opening R-rated release in cinema history, surpassing previous record holder Logan, which opened in 4071 theaters. The year 2017 became the year the horror genre for the first time ever had reached $1 billion in ticket sales at the US box office. Such films that made this milestone possible included this film, Get Out, Split, Annabelle Creation, Jigsaw, It Comes at Night, and Happy Death Day. The opening scene with Georgie takes place in October of 1988. Donnie Darko also takes place in October of 1988. In an early scene in Donnie Darko, Donnie's mother is seen reading the novel It. Actor Finn Wolfhard admits to having a fear of clowns despite starring as Richie in this movie. Ironically, Richie is the only character in the movie to explicitly state a fear of clowns. The trailer for this film enraged real-life professional clowns who stated that the Pennywise character will encourage people to think of clowns as scary and murderous. Rallies to defend the good name in general of clowns in the US were planned following the month It was released in theaters. This movie was released in the same week as American Horror Story Cult aired. This season focuses on a cult of clowns or cult honoring Twisty the Clown, a serial killer from Freak Show. Bill Skarsgård went on to star in another Stephen King adaptation called Castle Rock, which is an original Hulu TV series. Despite playing the villain, the cast and crew have said that Bill Skarsgård was extremely polite and friendly between takes and made an effort to ensure his performance didn't upset the child actors. Filming began on June 27, 2016 and officially wrapped on September 20, 2016, one day before author Stephen King turned 69 years old. Beverly's haircut and look is modeled after the 1980s style of Molly Ringwald, who Richie makes reference to while insulting Beverly. When the Losers Club are at the 4th of July festival, a clown can be seen performing on a nearby stage. The clown suit greatly resembles serial killer John Wayne Gacy's clown suit. In the scene where the boys watch Beverly sunbathe, the 1989 hit Bust a Move by Young MC is playing on the radio. The song is advice to a young man about how to approach a female while keeping your cool, which since first meeting Beverly is what Ben had trouble doing. It is regarded as the most evil and popular of Stephen King's villains, and an immense icon in horror. In 2006, Visit magazine ranked it as the 15th greatest villain of all time. This film marks the second time as European actor portraying Pennywise. Tim Curry, who is British, portrayed the character in the 90s miniseries, and Bill Skarsgård, who is Swedish, portrayed the character in this film. This is the second film released in 2017 that's based on the literary works of Stephen King. The first film is The Dark Tower and the third film is Netflix's Gerald's Game. A number of clowns have been spotted in various American states, including Florida, New York, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, and subsequently in other Western countries from August 2016. By October 2016, in the wake of hundreds of clown sightings across the United States and Canada, the phenomena had spread from North America to Europe, Australia, and Latin America. The film has the biggest opening weekend in the supernatural horror genre, breaking the previous record set by Paranormal Activity 3. It made double in its opening weekend revenue. In an interview, Bill Skarsgård stated that it took 5 hours to apply the clown makeup. However, they were able to shorten it down to 2 hours once the makeup artist had done it a couple of times. When Jack Dylan Grazer goes to refill his prescription, the film's director Andy Muschietti can be seen in the background for a brief cameo. The Losers Club shirts pay homage to various Stephen King stories, including The Shining, Carrie, Christine, and Pet Sematary. Unlike the 1919 miniseries, this adaptation in the preceding scene before the climax shows the Bob Gray Pennywise dance, which earned the performer's clown name of Pennywise the Dancing Clown. The novel It was originally published in September 1986. The film It was released in September 2017. September is also the birth month of Stephen King, the author of the novel. The second highest R-rated opening behind Deadpool and grossing higher than The Matrix Reloaded and American Sniper. Stephen King, who is the author of the original novel It, which the film is based on, is from Lisbon, Maine, US, where he went to Lisbon High School. The story also takes place in Maine, US. In the scene where Pennywise lures Georgie from the sewer grate, his eyes change color from blue to yellow. This is a characteristic lifted from the novel. A deleted scene on the Blu-ray reveals that Henry Bowers killed the remaining members of his gang after murdering his father, explaining why they are not present when he confronts the Losers Club in the climax. In the novel, it murders his entire gang. Besides the opening scene in the sewer drain with Georgie and the scene towards the climax in which Bill shoots him in the forehead while in the sewer with the rest of the losers, Pennywise does not blink. The end of the novel leaves the fate of Pennywise ambiguous, and even the first line of the story hints that he may still be alive. However, author Stephen King has sworn to never write about Pennywise again, stating that the character is too scary even for him. While filming the scene where bullies are harassing Ben on the kissing bridge, Nicholas Hamilton actually punched Jeremy Ray Taylor in the face during a take. Though director Andy Muschietti loved her audition, Sophie Lillis almost didn't get the role of Beverly Marsh. She was told by producer that she wasn't girly enough due to her pixie haircut and short stature. She flew to Toronto, Canada and auditioned again, this time wearing hair extensions and a dress. She got the role on the condition that she kept the hair extensions. However, when filming began, Muschietti had her cut off the extensions in her first bathroom scene. All of the losers except Richie have individual encounters with it before they all enter the house on Nailboard Street. Although most of the losers' fears were changed for the film, Addie's and Beverly's are the same as they are in the novel. While Addie's is toned down, Beverly's is much more extreme. The new film adaptations will feature the more disturbing aspects of the novel that the original TV miniseries was not able to. These include the most extreme acts of the violence committed by Pennywise and the bullies, as well as the dark sexual undertones present throughout the novel. Pennywise's eyes turn blue when he talks to Georgie because it is the color of his mother's eyes. The slideshow scene where Pennywise reveals himself through rapidly changing slides is a nod to another Stephen King story, The Sun Dog, in which a mangy and increasingly aggressive dog is revealed through a series of Polaroid photos before leaping out and attacking the protagonist. Pennywise also jumps out of the projection, hunched and barking like a dog before attacking. After the credits roll, Pennywise can be heard laughing, foreshadowing his return for Part 2. Sophia Lillis said in an interview that the scene where a fountain of blood sprays out of the sink drain in her face was the hardest scene for her to shoot. During the scene where Bill is woken up in his bed by water dripping from the ceiling onto a drawing he made of Beverly, which is sitting on his pillow, the water drops cause a red pencil used for her hair to look like blood. This foreshadows a scene later in the film where Beverly, having been abducted by Pennywise, is woken up in the sewers by blood dripping on her face. Most of the parents of the losers are shown at some point to be watching a TV show where the keyword is clown and all children should come to sewers is said. This would suggest that it is influencing the town's inhabitants in various ways on a daily basis. When Georgie loses the boat down the storm drain, he says, "Bill's gonna kill me." When Pennywise uses Georgie's boat to beckon him closer, he says, "Bill's gonna kill you." In the sewer scene towards the end of the film, it morphs into Georgie while confronting Bill, leading to Bill shooting it in the head while appearing as Georgie. The release date for the sequel is another reference to the number 27, September 6, 2019.